Hey guys, thank you so much for downloading and listening to this episode of On the Beat. Have you rated or reviewed us yet? If not, why? The best way for us to grow is by sharing us with your friends and rating and reviewing us wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify has a new rating feature right on our podcast front page. It is super easy, and the more 5-star ratings and reviews we get, the better it is for us to grow. If you screenshot and DM us your review, we'll share the most flattering ones on an upcoming episode. Thank you so much for listening, and your support is marvelous and appreciated.
All right, guys, so this is something that we haven't done before, but kind of keeping in the spirit of the whole Jackass thing and releasing all the bits that you wouldn't see in the movie, we're now releasing all the bits that we couldn't put into our main episode, a 0.5, if you will. So sit back, enjoy further musings from myself, Laura, and our guest, Josh.
What's the most pretentious Charlie Kaufman?
Oh, Synecdoche, New York. Absolutely.
Spike Jonze did that one too.
No. Charlie Kaufman wrote and directed it.
Yeah, he wrote directed that one.
He has no self-control.
I think he produced it or something.
Although he has no self-censorship.
Yeah. But Josh feels the absolute opposite. I do the Synecdoche, New York. I quite like Synecdoche, New York.
Yeah,
But I've not liked anything else since.
I missed that. You did that one at Uncomfortable Brunch.
Yeah.
And I missed it, but that's because I don't like that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I did it. I mean, I said a long time ago that even when when I was doing Uncomfortable Brunch by myself, and by myself I mean programming it by myself.
Yeah.
I always maintained this idea that I didn't want it to ever be the Josh Martin Film Festival.
Of course.
And so people have been brought on to help with programming Katie Whitaker has been on board for almost 5 years now.
Yeah,
Then a newer addition is a staff member at NZ and in the Porta Film Festival, Lorraine Sovereign. And that was something that she really wanted. And I had to bite my fucking tongue because I've said for years that no, it's not me running the show. And so we did it, and it's pretty, I've been pretty open that it's not my favorite in the world, but we have shown it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it doesn't have merit. But that's what I meant by going off on tangents. I have nothing to do with what we're actually talking about. For some reason, we're talking about Charlie Kaufman now and my disdain for Synecdoche, New York.
Well, it's because we brought up Spike Jonze, and he's a very likable. Fuck him. Like, he's so talented. With Big Brother specifically, they had made what basically becomes the inception of Jackass. Is there's 4 different little skate videos that they put out, and because they were obviously, pushing the boundaries of
Big Brother
of
or
decency.
Jackass?
Big Brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got shit, number 2, boob, and crap.
Those are the
that
Big
came
Brother
out.
skate videos.
And you're looking at like your pranky, stunt-based shenanigans. That's effectively the inception of what Jackass becomes. So
you've probably seen Jackass. So like it's sketches. Well, no, it's not even sketches.
It's not even
pranks.
sketches. It's pranks.
Pranks and stunts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And skateboarding.
And there is an evolution to that that's pretty abrupt between 3 and 4. And I think a lot of it has to do with their age, but also their notoriety. There's not a whole lot of man on the street bits the fourth one, in this new one. I just don't think that they could do it in the same way.
Which was the one where they go and do the rental car crash up derby?
That's in the first one.
That's in the first one?
That's the first sketch in the first one, I think. Or not the very first sketch, but it's close to the first. It's in the big
pretty much
beginning.
like almost the opening of the movie, that sketch, yeah.
So it was even back then, like they were still popular, so popular from the show that like doing those kind of pranks was tough.
And I know that a lot of it too was between the first and second were and this was to get around what are they called? Photo releases. The first was shot, a lot of it was shot in Japan. The second was a lot of it was shot in India.
Oh,
okay.
And that was specific to why, but I'm sure that helped as well to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Because we white people all look the same, so and rightly so. I mean, I get it. That's something that I noticed in the first 2 specifically, which I can't say with any authority that it was the releases, but I suspect that probably had a lot to do with it, because there were a lot of public on the street shots that faces were not blurred. That I very sincerely doubt that they had some PAs running around getting releases signed or having big signs up that everyone's actually paying attention to.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah,
I think for a foreign crew.
Yeah, I don't know what the laws are like overseas and things, but at least here in the UK, you can get away with it if you're in public. As long as you have permission to be there, you don't have to get releases from the general public. You don't, obviously, when you're releasing a film and things like that. You want to try and get as many as you can, because you don't want some random stranger just walking around in your film and they're like, "No, there I am. Give me money."
Yeah.
So when does it come a point where you need releases then? Tell me the laws.
Well, if they're like the victim of a prank, I suppose. Yeah. Specific to this.
And where the line on that is pretty gray, because if you think about like the party boy scenes, you know, where he's running around this electronics store, everybody's kind of a victim, but not really. Yeah. You know? So, but there's certainly the scene doesn't work without them.
Yes.
I would say that's probably where the line is for something guerrilla style documentary filmmaking, you know. Which that's what these are. They're documentary films in a really juvenile way. I've spoken to some, for some reason or another, people think that I have some sort of academic authority, which is not true at all when it comes to film. I love this stuff, but Jesus. But I've actually spoken to documentary film classes, and I always maintain that Jackass 2 is the best documentary ever made.
Oh my God.
That you can, Danica of the North, fuck off. This is actually more sincere and more honest than a lot of those that we teach in school.
Yeah. Okay.
I would take a class on this.
I mean, I just casually mention it because the kids don't know what to fucking do with that, and I think that's really funny.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, obviously the listeners can't see me. I'm a little bit white trash in some ways, and so they don't really expect to see me speaking in any kind of, again, authoritative way about cinema.
I think it's the glasses.
The glasses? Is that what makes it better or worse?
Well, I think glasses immediately I think glasses immediately make you look smart.
Oh, okay.
And intelligent. Yeah.
See, they're Woody Allen glasses. I just figured they make me look like a predator. Which,
well,
that's a look.
Yeah. Keep him out of the classroom. Oh my God.
They're not high school classes. It's college. It's fine.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, everyone's of age.
Legal.
Yeah. Watch out.
Yeah.
Here it
comes.
Go,
boom. Hired.
Step into my office. You're fucking hired.
It's hard sometimes. I can't think on my feet, but like I think that's a good one.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Watch out, Jackass about. Watch out. Anyone who knows anyone from the UK, that was the Beatles About theme tune. He's also probably one of the kings of hidden camera shows as well.
That's true.
Jeremy BiTTE. I didn't even know if we'd ever fucking bring him up. But certainly, I don't know if there's a hidden camera god in the US, but certainly in the UK, it's Jeremy BiTTE, and you'd recognize Jeremy BiTTE for his very acute and specific look, and also having one tiny hand.
Yeah, he's a star.
He is a star. Yeah. There's usually a few things I bring up from time to time. One of them's Bullseye with Jimbo, and the other thing is Beatles About, or You've Been Framed with Jeremy BiTTE.
Yeah, we have watched those. They're on YouTube.
They're fucking awesome.
I don't know about hidden camera shows. I'll only care about Jackass.
Oh, okay. Well.
In the States.
Yeah.
In the States.
I don't know. I'm going to say it's nothing new when Jackass came around.
No. Well,
the hidden camera show.
No, but, you know.
No.
But they have a chemistry and a bond and a friendship.
That's true. Jeremy BiTTE did it all on his own. He didn't have any friends.
He's a lonely guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, he was scary.
Wow.
I think the most fun that I participated in, but I was not the victim of by any stretch. Oh. My good friend Stephen McKendry, who's still he's a filmmaker now. Actually, he was something else when we were kids. Like he was like definitely least likely to succeed. Okay. He was delightful. Everyone loved Stephen, but he was the laziest son of a bitch I've ever met. But he somehow got his shit together, and he's now just like this amazing, hardworking person who is also has a preternatural understanding of light. He's just a really great cinematographer. Oh, wow. Who would have thought? But he he suggested that he stand outside of the movie theater we worked at, and that we get on the roof, which is probably about 30 feet up, I would say roughly.
Okay.
There was a ladder that was like attached to the wall in the maintenance room that we had to climb up. So one person climbed up it with a rope. The rope got tied to a bucket, like a 5 or 10 gallon bucket of ice. And we dumped it from the roof onto him. And then we recorded all this.
Wow.
And he didn't really put together that would be like having 10 gallons of rocks dumped on you.
Yeah.
He did not feel good after that.
Oh my God.
It was all his suggestion too. All of us were like, that seems like a bad idea, Steven. But no, it's gonna be fucking hilarious. Like, all right, it's gonna be fucking hilarious. I don't disagree with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That reminded me of a story. I jumped off the primary school roof. And I think the gap was about 7 or 8 feet, but the fall was at least 20.
Oof.
Oh
So if you didn't hit the gap, then you were falling 20 feet to the ground. And I did that like 4 or 5 times.
You hit it every time?
Well, we used to go to the school after hours. So we used to skate. That's the main thing. Like, I used to skate. So, I mean, we would go in there, and then for all intents and purposes, we'd be like, you can just jump off that roof. You know? I don't know about anybody else, but like when I was growing up, I was like, I have no future. So I'm just going to fucking jump off things and do all sorts of crazy shit and draw stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck. Wow. Until I found film.
Rebel.
And I'm in still the same position, just slightly older.
Have either of you ever worked for a movie theater, especially as a projectionist?
I worked at the Cineworld in Glasgow for about 3 months.
Okay.
And I think I was there they did the annual like Bollywood festival there,
okay.
and they warned us. They were like, "Look, people are gonna get rowdy. It's gonna get crazy," and it's like they're 4-hour long films, so just be prepared for the fact. Look, if you see all that stuff, just leave them alone because that's normal. But no, I remember it's a lie. It's a lie that like if you work at a movie theater, you're able to watch the movies and have zero issues with it whatsoever. You don't get to see the movies. You don't get to see the movies at all. I think
you probably could get in after your
hours.
shift.
We always did it after hours.
All right.
We would, but we were bad.
Oh.
We were always getting in trouble for various things. One thing that we did not get, and the reason I bring this up is because in a very jackassy sort of way. Another thing that involved the roof of that theater, especially this was back in the 35 millimeter days, and so there was no digital projection.
Yeah.
Well, when replacing a bulb in one of those 35 millimeter projectors, you have to do it from the front. So the way that the bulb fits in, you can't do it from the side really. Your hand just doesn't bend that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'd have to wear this protective face covering that was not dissimilar to like a welder's mask. It wasn't darkened like that, but it was that cut, and then a lead vest.
Oh my God.
It was very unlikely, but it was possible that if it blew, it wouldn't kill you, but it would be kind of like taking a buckshot. Like it wouldn't feel like you would be fucked up.
Slight maiming.
Well, so we saved those when we switched them out. For like a year, we saved them and then took them onto the roof in the same way in a bucket with a rope and then threw them into the dumpster that was a good 40, 50 feet away or something like that. And they were grenades, essentially. We were not smart.
Yeah, you're indestructible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
indestructibility soon kind of evaporates as you get further and further into your 20s until you hit 30. And then you're like, no. I'm as fragile as fucking glass.
Oh, yeah, no. Everything hurts.
Yeah. I mean, just like your sensibilities and just your, like, you as a parent. No, like it's everything. Like your brain just starts to fucking melt. And
I always wanted to work at a movie theater, always. And I never could. And I always applied and they wouldn't take me. And I don't know why. I don't get it.
It's really not it's not a claim to anything, really.
I totally disagree. My experience was amazing. I don't have friends from high school, but I still have friends from that fucking theater.
That's adorable.
So, like, the filmmaker friend, I mean, who would have thought? Yeah, but, yeah, no, I see there's a friend of mine that I made there. And again, this was well over 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
And he's got 2 children and a wife, and I go and visit him, and I'm Uncle Josh, and it's very bizarre.
Wow.
So,
Well, I worked...
but it also wasn't a corporate theater. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was one that it was a AMC 8-screen box theater that had closed down because of the megaplexes, and then just kept switching hands. These investors thinking that it was a good idea, and so we'd be on hiatus for like a week or 2 every year and a half.
Okay.
While it closed down, and then a new investor would come in and reopen it, but they'd hire us all back. So it was just like this ragtag group of idiots that.
Better the devil you know in that situation. Yeah, I know. I think because it was a multiplex. My mate worked for the Cameo that was down the road for me, and his was the experience that it should be, where it is quite lazy, and you get to watch films, and you feel like the atmosphere is nice and stuff, as opposed to like you're on a schedule looking after 6 or 7 screens on a floor, because this was a tiered cinema.
Oh, okay.
So there was like 6 or 7 screens on a floor, and it was like 4 floors. And they were like, you need to make sure you're doing it. I remember I chucked out 3 crazy Glaswegian kids who'd bought like light up sticks.
Oh, God.
And they'd gotten some guns in there. Not real guns. But like
What the fuck is going on in your theater? Holy shit. That's like in America.
And they were shooting stuff from the back row into people who were in their seats. So I was just like, take your shit and get the fuck out.
Wow. Man, the closest I got was working at a video store, and I worked for a few video stores, and that was maybe the best job I ever had, was working at Hollywood Video for like 5 years in South Florida, and then I worked at the Hollywood Video that closed down in Winter Park, Florida. And then when that closed down, I worked at Blockbuster for like a month, or maybe it was like a little more than a couple months, but I fucking hated Blockbuster.
Yeah, I worked for Blockbuster for a couple months and hated it.
Fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Blockbuster was the fucking worst. It really was. Hollywood Video was amazing.
Yeah, I hate the nostalgia for Blockbusters these days, by the way.
But
it was their own undoing. They fucking killed the mom and pops, and now we want to feel bad because Netflix killed them. Fuck off. They were garbage.
and I don't have a nostalgia for Blockbuster. It's more of a nostalgia like, I fucking miss going to the video store.
Yeah,
oh my God, I miss it so much. I loved working at the video store. I loved being able to like recommend movies to people, and people would trust you. You know, because, you're goddamn right. I've seen every fucking movie in this place.
That's right.
I've seen it 5 times. I know exactly where it is. I know the covers of movies better than I know the actual films. Like, I know what every movie cover looks like, from 2005 and earlier. After that, I didn't really work there after that. Because they were all gone. But yeah, it was amazing. I loved it. I loved being the manager. I'd buy pizza for everybody on Friday nights. We'd work until midnight. There was a liquor store next door. We'd make drinks. We'd be getting drunk, eating pizza, watching Ninja Turtles.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We'd watch all the Ninja Turtles movies, and it'd be like almost a whole shift.
Even the third one?
Especially the third one.
Definitely
Really?
the third one.
All right.
Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
What was it called?
That was the video game.
It was just
Time.
Yeah. It was just TMNT 3. That's all it was called. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
The Secret of the Ooze?
Second one was Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah. This was the second one.
And then obviously
I love that one.
There's just TMNT. Yeah. No, that's fine. Good. Well, that's where my argument for everything is art breaks down. Is that third Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. That's where I'm like, oh no, wait, hold on. Yeah.
Well, we'd already had like quite a few whiskeys by that point and eating like tons of pizza, so we didn't care about the third one.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I loved it. You had all the TVs, and then you could just turn up. Like I remember working with our friend Carolina, and I hired her there at Hollywood Video just so we could like fuck around, and we would just put on like weird movies and listen to Pink Floyd albums. Like it just didn't matter.
That's actually that doesn't sound too bad. I don't actually I don't have any sort of like working stories like that. Everything was with the fucking corporate-y fucking bullshit.
We had no manager. Like I was the manager.
I know, it's just depressing
so
me. Everyone has really nice work stories and work friends. And I'm just like, fuck.
I just hired my friends.
Fuck them all. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the way to go.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so that Jackass, the movie, is your favorite out of all 4. And it's funny that you're saying that. And it makes sense if you're saying you want it to be like kind of dirty. What did you say?
The roughness.
Rough. You like a bit of the rough.
Yeah.
Jackass Forever is not at all. There's no blurriness. everything's clean, everything's like
Yeah, I
focused,
mean,
everything's like
all of that shot on
cinematic.
4K
Yeah.
cameras, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Even the drone shots,
Yeah.
of which they utilize the drones really well in Jackass Forever.
Yes.
It irritates the shit out of me when it's like, oh, okay, we get it. You have a low budget, and you're just gonna fucking milk the rental that you got,
Yeah.
whether it speaks to the story or not. But there's no story, so I'm all for how many great drone
Yeah.
shots there are
Yeah.
in Jackass Forever.
I just like a good old dirty fucking videotape camera. Like, I still have one of them in
Curtis
there.
Mathis
I love that
VHS
fucking shit.
insert on the shoulder.
Oh.
One of those ones.
'Cause that's the thing. Like, I don't know if it's the same with you, but like, I grew up with like using those cameras.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole digital age.
Oh, yeah.
When all that shit started coming in, I'm just like, something's being lost here.
Yeah, I mean, I used to shoot on VHS-C.
Yeah.
I had a VHS-C camera.
Were they the little
Yeah, and then you could put the adapter in the big
in the
VHS
VHS
Yeah.
tape.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was
The-
called. I'm like, that's what I used to
Yeah,
have.
the only short of mine that still exists out in the ether somewhere.
Oh shit.
It was shot on VHS-C, and
Wow.
we edited that motherfucker on VCRs at first. We
Yep.
did eventually clean it up because we actually found that we actually liked. This was the only project that I have ever done that I liked, and we did digitize all of it and cut it together in a pirated copy of Adobe Premiere.
All right.
And this was
okay.
in like 2002, so it was
Wow.
a super early version. I don't know how we ran it on our fucking computers, but yeah, and we
like
did because that
CS3
way
or
we were able to
something.
put in transitions and make the soundtrack a
Yeah.
little smoother
Yeah.
and things like that. Because we did include a lot of really ridiculous music that we
Yeah.
liked.
Oh
So
man.
I did like a foundation course in film when I first left school because I barely went to school. I didn't know what to do with my life until my stepmother at the time just threw something in front of me and says, "There's a fucking course there. Why don't you just go and do it?" I was like, "Right, okay, fine." So we were shooting on mini DV tapes,
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
try and maintain the quality because we were doing it between two VCRs, we used SVHS,
oh okay,
and those tapes only came in 30-minute
yeah,
section, so you couldn't shoot too
Yeah.
much. So either you could drop the money on an SVHS tape, which I think at the time was like £10 for one 30-minute tape,
right.
to
Wow.
try and keep the quality a little bit higher. Because obviously the generational quality from the DV tape to that was
Yeah.
like fucking garbage. But yeah, no, I remember doing that.
I think that's what I used when I was in high school, was those mini DV tapes, because
Yeah.
I was in like the television program or course at school, and so we would do a like end of week show that we would put on, and so my group, we would always do like the very ending show, and we could do whatever we wanted. So it was usually me being like a total idiot, dressed like Johnny Knoxville, obviously, and running around and like barging into classrooms and singing like I like big butts and stuff like that. Like
Oh, okay.
that, those exist
Wow.
of me. And because all of the people in my group were like younger than me, they were like juniors and I was a senior, and so I didn't give a shit. I didn't have to be cool. I didn't have to do anything. I'm like graduating, so just acting like an idiot. Yeah, but the point of that
Okay.
was that we would edit those on those like little mini DV tapes or whatever.
Okay.
Computers. I don't even know how I did it.
Yeah.
No idea, because it was very awkward and
Oh
difficult.
yeah. Yeah, no, I remember because we were meant to edit on those VHS things, but we cheated and we got ourselves like a computer somewhere and we just fucking did it
yeah.
on the computer instead. And folk were like, "No, you didn't do it on the VHS thing." I was like, "Well,
It was like on that, and it was
That's
like
nothing you need
connected
to worry about,
somehow
sir.
to the computer, like as the monitor. I don't know how it worked.
Yeah, with that VHS-C, I remember we actually sprung for my buddy Jason and I. He and I made the movie together. We were in it,
Okay.
wrote it, directed it, that whole thing. We sprung for a new video card that had an RCA input,
oh wow,
so
okay,
we could actually plug a VCR into his desktop, and that was how we did it. It was pretty
all right.
ridiculous. I mean, it was. I remember it being kind of expensive for us. I mean, we were 16.
yeah,
Yeah.
17. I think I was 16. He was 18.
yeah."
Yeah. So weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what the insurance companies, if there was anything where they had to do certain things last.
Yeah.
As in the way that like they have insurance policies on super old directors.
Yes.
Yes. I'm
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
like Prairie Home Companion when Paul Thomas Anderson was backup because Robert Altman was so fucking old.
Yeah,
They were
really.
worried he was going to die.
Yes.
Maybe they
man.
have some version. I mean, that's speculation. I have no idea, but
That's
would
100%.
make sense.
Yeah, that's definitely 100% true. I don't know if he died. He died during the editing, I think.
Yeah, no, it's true. But it was just that I was just drawing the comparison that
they had PTA on standby.
The money men probably have some sort of say in what order they do these crazy stunts in case what if one of them fucking dies?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so scary.
Which that's pretty cynical, but probably a reality on some level with 50-year-old men, going into a ring with a bull.
Well, we watched all of the making ofs that were available to us, like for 1 to 3, and Trip Taylor said it at least 2 or 3 times. At least once or twice during each of the documentaries where it's just like, there's a strong possibility one of them might die.
Jesus.
Because there's that bit in 3 where Knoxville's on that rocket, like that big red rocket.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fucking thing explodes from side to side, and what they realized was that giant metal bar that was about 2 foot long, if it was, say, 4 inches a little bit higher up, it would have just went right through his chest, and he would have been killed.
Yeah.
Immediately, so... If anyone's not seen 1 to 3, which they will, we're going to cover their dick moments.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We don't need to get too far into
I
those
really liked
ones.
in Jackass 3D when they did the Ram Jam. Do you remember that? It was Ryan Dunn.
So the
and
one
Steve-O.
thing I will say is the bits that Laura loves are the most innocent parts. So when it comes to people getting scared, and when it comes to people maybe being attacked by an animal, let's say like a ram or something, but not a bull, because like the bull will
that
fucking
stresses me
kill
out.
you. But like when it's an animal that looks like it's a bit aggravated by your presence, like I've never seen her in such a fit of hysterics.
I love it.
And it
so
was
much.
like, because Steve was stuck on the fence, Ryan Dunn's on the ground, and he's just getting
hit by that
battered by
ram,
this ram.
and he's still trying to blow that tuba, and he's just like, "Oh, I guess rams don't like music." And Steve-O's stuck; his jeans are stuck, and everyone's like, "Steve-O, help him!" He's like, "I'm trying," and Dunn's on the ground just getting like,
Try the trumpet. Try and calm it with your trumpet. No.
"Oh my god!" Oh, I love it so much; it's so funny.
There seems to be a little bit of ownership over, specifically, in, what is it? Is it the second one that ends with Aaron dressing up as a terrorist?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god!
Where he's freaking out. He's like, I didn't even fucking come up with this one. Why did I agree to do it? That's
true.
Yeah. So yeah, we saw Jackass Forever today, and
It was Ryan and my first time seeing it.
It's our first time
Josh's
there.
second time.
And I guess we'll try and fill in some of the gap, but they're bringing in new blood into this because there's no Bam Margera.
Oh.
Ryan Dunn is unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is missing from the cast.
No one else is missing.
No
from
one else
the
is
main
missing.
Cast. It's just
Obviously, there's a handful of new individuals who've joined it, and obviously, I've got no issue with like Eric Andre. I think whenever he shows up, everything's a good time.
Yeah, he's funny.
that seemed like they kind of understood that too. Like he wasn't part of the crew by any. He was just.
No.
He seemed like he was just hanging out.
And for anyone who's
do
not
that.
seen Action Point and who's not seen
Kevin
Bad
Kirkby.
Trip, Bad Trip's available on Netflix. It's well worth watching. It's
Certainly.
fucking funny. And Action
even
Point,
produce-
Action Point's probably a little lesser than say Bad Trip, but it's still well worth watching because you're watching Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
But certainly with Jackass Forever, this is where we get to see there's more. There's a woman. There's a woman in the group now.
oh my
Yeah.
god.
Who's doing fucking stunts and doing fucked up things. There is a bit more of a diversity within the cast because let's be honest, for the most part, it's all
white dudes.
It's all white dudes doing
Yeah.
fucking crazy
Right.
things to each
It's
other.
been all white dudes.
Yeah.
Since day one.
Right.
Yeah.
And it hasn't changed until this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you have an intense gap in time between all those, and also
Because when was Jackass 3? It's like 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a long time.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
long
it's a long
time.
time.
Such a long time. And yeah, of course you have to get younger people in.
Yeah.
You have to.
It wouldn't have been an entertaining movie to watch 90 minutes of these men who are clearly too old to be doing these horrible things.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
They
did it successfully, but
I think so too. But it's still weird for me to see these guys. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Had you known who these people were before? Like, did you know who they were? I'd never heard of them. I'd never seen their faces.
I thought I'd recognized a couple. I mean,
but
when I went to the screening on opening night, or the night before opening night, the Thursday night screening, there was a little 10-minute blurb in the front of the film that introduced those new people. And it seemed that it was Knoxville and Tremaine had found them through YouTube and Instagram and various avenues like that. And all of the old members of the group all said, like, yeah, we were not into this at all. We fucking did not want these kids. You know, we didn't want to even fuck around with it. And they said after, a couple hours, they're like, oh, yeah, no, these are us. Like, this is everybody belongs here, which maybe it's bullshit. Maybe it's not. But it seemed like it was a pretty calculated effort because they're just old. I think it worked.
I think that Aaron took the brunt of it.
Yes.
Aaron, that poor man. I wrote that on my note. I wrote, poor Aaron.
Yeah.
That poor, he
gets fucked up.
He does. His poor balls. Oh my god.
He gets fucked up. Yeah.
Oh god, that was awful.
But it's also kind of like, I mean, it's maybe down to an unwillingness just to kind of do certain things, obviously, at their ages now.
Well, the beginning of the film, I was like, it took a good 20 minutes or so, and I didn't think I saw them do anything. I didn't see really Knoxville or Aaron or Steve-O do much, and they were just kind of standing around watching these guys, like the ramp, that body ramp thing, which is hilarious. But they were just there.
Yeah.
And I go, oh no, is that what this is going to be? Or is it just going to be these guys, perpetuating these stunts for these younger guys and then laughing at them or punching them in the back of the head or something? Right. Doing a Rocky.
Because that's one of the main, or probably one of the most important subtractions from the group is obviously the lack of Bam Margera, as much as he's still around, as much as he's obviously having his problems, but he was involved in the filming to a point. And he is in the movie, but we don't see much of him, basically. He's like a background player.
Oh, they barely even mention the fact that he's there. It was in that, when they did the marching band. Which was very funny, and they all got very hurt. But he was
ironically,
in that.
like, the simplest of stunts ended up fucking them all up.
Oh, it looked awful.
It
looked so bad.
I don't know, this is probably not a real popular opinion, but watching all four of them together like I just recently have, I didn't really feel a loss in the fourth one with Bam not being there. I always felt like he was kind of the pussy of the group that was just, he was a whiner. And I don't know, he seemed like the most of a punching bag who made that his own label.
Right.
I never really cared for his bits all that much. I mean, I'm not happy that he's having drug issues and that's the reason that he's gone. I'm just saying that I
would say with the absence of Bam and the obvious absence with Ryan Dunn, because they come as like a double act. Sure. Let's put it that way. We also don't get Phil.
That's
and we don't
get. Oh my god, that's a huge loss. Is Phil and Ape.
Yeah, Phil and April. We don't get them in this movie, and I feel like that's where it is.
I feel that loss in the new one.
I really loved Bam. Like, I really, really did. Like, my really first introduction to all of this stuff, and I feel like it was even before Jackass, was CKY.
Yeah.
Because I worked at a skate shop. I was trying to find the name of it before we started. Recording was SFX in South Florida, which was an indoor. It was my very first job, I think.
Okay.
Might have been my second job after the pizza place. But I worked there. I was the only girl working at the skate shop.
Okay.
And this indoor skate park. And it was kind of this underground thing. Oh, have you seen CKY? Oh, have you seen CKY? And they're like, oh, she's a girl. Oh, she won't like it. I'm like, I'm the only girl working in this skate park, dude. I'm cool, Yeah. And so these, tapes, these VHS tapes would go around, and these bootleg tapes of CKY. And I remember watching those, and I loved it. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I still remember line for line some of the things from the CKY videos. But yeah, I really liked Bam. You know, I liked, but you can definitely see, and it goes throughout all of the Jackass show and the movies, that he always tends to have his own separate thing going, like with his crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you get them together and they would do stuff together, but then when you would see these separate stunts, you know, he would be doing things with his own dudes, and the, you know, like the East Coast boys and the West Coast boys. Like they'd always, I noticed that at least, where they'd be off in Westchester doing some shit with Phil in April.
Yeah.
And Johnny Knoxville and the rest of the guys wouldn't be there. They'd be there with Ryan and whoever.
Okay.
He's got troubles.
Yeah, no, that would appear self-evident. Yeah, there is a kind of prevalence of them leaning a little bit, maybe too hard, on the new folk. Certainly since we don't have much of an introduction to them and their personalities and stuff like that. Because certainly when we do come into the movie the first time with the Jackass crew, we've gotten to know them over the course of several different episodes. So I feel like the shoes themselves are maybe a little bit too big to fill.
Oh, yeah. They could never handle it on their own.
No.
I don't think so.
And the personalities, I think that's the main thing.
I don't know, they're just there to please the boys, and I'm sure that's what they're doing.
Because that's the thing, they're either suitable to take the title from who's still there, or they're effectively just imitators who are inspired by the fact that these are things that they saw when they were younger. And I think some of them are funny, but at the same time, I'm like,
who did you think was funny? Which guy? You know who was annoying to me?
Poopsie. I thought Poopsie was pretty funny.
Guess who I thought was annoying?
Who?
Poopsie.
Oh.
What'd you think about Poopsie?
I've known a lot of guys like Poopsie in my life, and there's something endearing about it, maybe. I don't know. I liked Zach and Rachel, though. I think that they were both strong. We didn't get to see any of them, none of the stunts were claimed by them to have, like, oh, we came up with this.
Yeah.
But you got that feeling through the other movies of who came up with what along the way.
Yeah.
And clearly they've all been kind of workshopped through the group. But I thought that the new girl, Rachel, was game for some fucked up stuff. And there was a kind of a solid Me Too joke in there that was funny.
Yeah.
You know, when she's getting the scorpion lip Botox, and it falls onto her breasts, and she's like, get off me. She's like, not in 2021. I fucking need consent for that shit. I consent. Like, that's a solid joke. She's funny. And actually, she's a comedian. That's her background is stand-up.
Okay, got ya. Got ya.
Yeah, which I can see that. And I think that I had a certain amount of benefit to watching that little pre-show deal that was on opening night that probably should have been there for everybody, because it was just everybody sitting in a room talking about why they're all there.
Yeah.
It gave a little bit of context that made I appreciated it. Because what you're saying about not knowing who these people are, watching it this time around, I was like, yeah, that totally. I would have been really lost with who the fuck are these people.
Yeah.
I get like
why
defensive.
are they here? But
why are these guys hanging out with the boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like kind of our queer attachment to the series just in general kind of made us feel like they were imposters as opposed to welcome
really
additions.
Did.
Yeah.
I've known them longer than you have.
And that's kind of still...
Child.
Yeah, these little kids.
Yeah, why'd you get the opportunity to get yourself shot out of a fucking cannon or go down a lube slide?
Why do you get a hug from Pontius? Why can't I get a hug from Pontius?
There was in that opening bit that I saw that you didn't was really great was Dave England saying to Poopsie, he's like, I was fucking defensive as shit. It's like, is he the new shit guy? Fuck that. I'm the shit guy here.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot.
And the vomit.
Yeah, not a lot of poo and vomit
which
in
I was
this one.
so happy about.
Yeah.
Those are the two least.
Did we get a Lance Bangs vomit scene in this new one? Were there...
He didn't come out because he had the mask on.
The mask on. That's right. Yeah.
That happened at least 3 times where he almost started. Yeah, he started fucking vomiting in his mask.
Every time Lance Bangs vomits, it's...
Yeah, an angel gets its wings. Yeah.
It was funny. I remember very vividly when the third came out. I saw it in theaters in 3D.
Yeah.
Opening weekend. Yep. Well, I was working for this art house theater that I now have Uncomfortable Brunch at, and I was working, I don't even remember what my position was exactly, but it was some admin position, I think it was, And so I was at the admin Monday morning meetings where the head of every department meets up and we just have kind of a State of the Union, what happened last week box office wise, where we're moving forward, blah, blah, blah. Well, the programming director there, he's been there since 1991, I believe.
Wow.
He is a caricature of and I say this lovingly, but I've told him this before. He is whatever you have in your head of a 64-year-old non-practicing atheist Jew who is a programming director for a film festival and art house theater.
Okay.
That's him. He's just kind of, I'm convinced that he doesn't like anyone. It's just levels of tolerance.
Okay.
And I've gotten, over the years, I'm very high level of tolerance for him. So much so that, I would venture to say we're friends.
Oh, all right.
But
You might not dare say it to his face, though,
no,
just in case.
Yeah, just in case. You don't know.
Yeah.
But we would bullshit about the movies that we watched over the weekend. Not theater related to the theater we worked with, just what do we watch?
Yeah.
And I told him I went to see Jackass 3D, and he starts laughing in a kind of a condescending way. Because he hadn't seen any of them, and he wasn't familiar with it really. He knew of its existence in pop culture, but he had never seen it. He's like, really? In 3D, did the 3D make it better? And that was his first and only question. And my response at 25 years old was, I mean, I don't know. Did dildos being shot out of a potato cannon, do you think they're better in 3D? Because I do. and he just sort of nodded approvingly. Side story to that is that Enzian showed the first Jackass for Cult Classics last year. Yeah. And I got to sit at the table with him watching any Jackass movie for the first time.
Oh.
And he was like cry laughing so hard. This grown-ass grumpy man just losing his shit over the most immature thing imagined. It was so good.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is Jackass 3 better with the 3D in it?
I haven't watched it in 3D. You did recently.
Sort of. Yeah, I watched like the blue and red version, like DVD version, which is it just gives you a headache. I mean, the gimmick is not worth it in that way.
Yeah.
But I will say that remember seeing it 12 years ago in theaters with the Real D, whatever the fuck, that it did make a less good or a slightly more tired version of what we'd already seen. A more fun experience.
Yeah, I think so.
I enjoyed it more than I think that I would have if it had been just 2D.
Yeah. I would agree. I don't know, like,
spin.
is Jackass 3D a better 3D movie than Jaws 3D?
Wow.
Because I think
better,
it's
or
like,
do I like it more?
almost the exact same traits that they're doing, where it's just kind of like, just bring shit closer to the screen. Have things coming out towards you, as opposed to anything kind of going from side to side. Just make sure it's all coming towards you. Because obviously it's a cinematic trick that's been played since the dawn of cinema.
Yeah.
In like the late 1800s, so...
No? Yeah, I mean, it's the train, right?
It's the train.
It's the train coming at the crowd. Oh my god.
It's a train, or it's a giant dildo coming towards your face.
Is Jackass 3D better than Jaws 3D? Yes.
You think so?
It's certainly more fun.
Yeah, it's definitely more fun.
There's less Michael Caine.
Is it as funny, though? No, it's Jaws 3D. It's not Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah, totally
Come on,
different.
you worked on the ride.
More...
You should know this.
We only deal with the
it's
original.
the Dennis Quaid
on
one.
The ride.
Jaws 3D.
There's a great Michael Caine quote about the Revenge, Jaws the Revenge, where he said, he says, "Oh my God, no, I've never seen it, and I'm sure it's terrible, but I did see the house that it built, and it's quite lovely."
I don't know if I ever brought that story up about Jaws the Revenge. Certainly not on this podcast anyway. But like, supposedly there was a dye in the water that they were using in the tanks, and it made Michael Caine's hair blue. Yeah.
I kind of like that. I like that.
I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's good. I like that distinguished man had to have blue hair. That's funny to me. I mean, I love Michael Caine, but also, fuck him in that situation. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Earn that paycheck.
That's what it's for.
That was all that was for, so...
I can't believe I got this mixed up. I'm like trying to wrap my head around it right now.
It's okay.
I'm
It's
really
all right.
sorry.
No, that's all right.
I did work at Jaws.
Well, look, if you have a sudden
disappointed.
feeling of self-loathing later in the evening, that is why.
I live with it. A lot of the penises in the third one were Bam Margera
pissing
on people.
Yeah, pissing
Yeah.
on
Which is
folk.
awful.
Yeah,
So
there
gross.
was one where he was pissing on himself because he was pissing into the jet stream of
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that
The
jet.
jet
That was kinda
engine.
funny.
Jet engine.
Yeah.
Fucking gross. But yeah, I don't think peeing on people's okay when there
No.
isn't consent. I mean,
I agree.
yeah, that seems like that crosses a line, but
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe
If it's
they
not
all
in the
had a-
bath or in the toilet, it's a no from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm into that.
No? I mean, this is the time for revelations.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
Water
maybe
sports?
it's a revelation for me. Maybe I'm figuring something out about myself
Maybe.
now and
Josh
here.
loves
Yeah.
water sports.
Wow. There you go. Josh Martin
gonna
loves
have to-
water sports.
Try some
Yeah.
stuff out in the shower later.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, just lay on my back.
Well, make
Just
it
let us know
simple.
how it goes.
Do it standing up in the bath. Piss on your leg. See how it feels.
Oh, I'm sure that would feel great.
Yeah, there you go.
It
See?
wouldn't feel bad.
No.
Is the water running also?
Maybe. Depends on what you want to do.
Well, you start baby steps.
Baby steps.
But then again, haven't we all peed in the shower?
Yeah.
You have. You
Yeah,
haven't
of course you
deliberately
have.
pissed on yourself.
Yeah.
Like the act
I
of
don't have-
peeing
I don't
itself
have a
is
You don't have a
not.
choice, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I do a weird kind of angle, which
Yeah.
you can do.
Or get a
Uh-huh.
sheepy.
You know
For
what?
the shower.
Honestly, I wish for the shower. I wish
Just for pissing on your
I wish
leg.
there was one of those that actually worked in real life in real situations, because I am often stuck in the woods somewhere and I really
Okay,
wish
this
I
is
could.
good to hear because obviously I don't have a use for one.
Right.
And I've always speculated that it's like that can't work. And
I've never tried it.
nobody's ever told me if it has or not. And I apparently don't have good enough friends that would divulge such information to me. I want to know if that actually works because it
I would
feels
love
like it
to
wouldn't.
try one in real life, but it seems that you also have to carry it with you, and you also are going to have like a pee, you know what I mean? There's pee everywhere.
Well, it's silicone, so you probably could just rinse it out with some soap and water. But if you're
Yeah.
outside in the woods, you wouldn't
yeah,
have that.
exactly.
No.
What am I going to
Point.
have, like a carabiner and have it stuck on my backpack and just
That's
walk
your
around with
that's
a
your pee
pee
water.
Yeah. Like, what's that
My
strong
pee
smell
hose?
of piss coming from your bag? It's the sheepy.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
just,
Well, I mean, I feel like you'd have a Ziploc bag for it.
or I'll
That
just
would
guess
be
what?
the answer.
I'll just keep it, and I want one to also look
And
like
just
a
in case
penis,
you
okay?
didn't know
Yeah,
what
that
it was,
makes
So we're gonna
sense.
get a sheepy.
just make sure you put a label on the
Circumcised or
Ziploc bag
uncircumcised?
as well. Just make sure you know.
Uncircumcised.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm gonna pop it in, and I'm gonna always have my sheepy penis hanging out of my shorts
Oh, okay.
when I'm at work. So I'm walking around
That is an excellent idea.
excavating
Okay.
with my sheepy out,
All right. Okay.
just peeing wherever I want.
Nice.
There you go.
You can send me some videos
Of course I will.
so I can be like,
I'll send you a boomerang of
Judge
my
them.
sheepy.
oh, fuck. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that'll be
If
entertaining.
I
Yeah.
was born a man, I would have been arrested. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, you've told me some horrible things in your dreams.
It's
I have terrible podcast etiquette. I don't know what I'm doing at all.
Yeah.
I keep going too far
Sometimes,
back.
yeah.
I
Sometimes
apologize.
Josh sits back too. He's sitting on a sofa, so it's it's defensible, But
it's our fault for not having adequate seating.
I blame
Yeah,
you
no.
entirely.
You should.
we've sat him on something that's very comfortable.
Yeah.
I guess, sort of. Well, it's more comfortable. It's like we're leaning forward and things like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
I did
Anyways,
it subtly during the course of the podcast, where I'm just like, you just go a little bit closer, and you're just like, come here, get it. What's that microphone?
Yeah.
Well, I wrote down about the Vomitron, which we had gone through the whole movie without seeing a lot of vomit, and I was super excited. And then they
Yeah.
have a segment called Vomitron. I'm like, oh no, which goes
Yeah.
with
Yeah, with
the
milk too.
colored milk.
Colored
Yeah,
milk.
colored milk.
Oh, gross.
Well, the milk's colored to their t-shirts.
Yeah.
So that for
And-
whatever
and
reason
I'm-
you wouldn't see it as much.
I know that it probably isn't the case, but something about it being flavored, like the candy version of those, would make it so much worse.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
yellow being banana, like candy, banana runt flavored milk. Or grape, like Kool-Aid flavored milk, which just something about that. I didn't think about it the first time around, but watching it today, it's like, oh,
yeah,
that was.
I can't really get into that whole phenomenon, that Nesquik phenomenon.
No, it's
You know what I mean?
Oh,
filth,
ew.
Flavoring your fucking milk.
Yeah.
the only thing I was thinking of when they first introduced that segment was, how cold is that milk?
It can't be cold at all.
No.
I think that was room temperature milk.
No.
Yeah, or desert temperature milk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a Lance
If
Bangs.
anything,
that.
anything that we've learned from Alien and Ian Holm was like his head was sat on that desk for that amount of time, and the milk was coming out of his mouth. He got incredibly sick because they never refrigerated that milk. That they were pouring into his mouth every take.
Fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Gross.